In today's video, I'll be sharing my experience using the HEPA air filter, specifically the Levoit H13, so without further ado, let's get right into it. First off, here's a quick overview about myself and the environment that I tested this in. So I live in Vancouver, where it's a temperate rainforest. As a result, my room's humidity level tends to sit around 40 to 50%, which does help drag down some of the airborne particles. In our case, that's pretty useful. Now personally, I don't have any allergies related to air quality, however, I can tell when the air isn't as it should be. And so I have tested it throughout the year in 2020 in my work/gaming/bedroom, aka the man cave. As for the Levoit H13 unit itself, it costs around $100 and has a replaceable filter. 3 blue ambient light settings of high, low, and off. 3 settings for fan speed, low, medium, and high. And an overall simple clean design, which now comes in a black variant. So with that, here's how my experience went. When I first got the unit, I didn't know what exactly I was looking for. I left it on for a few hours in a closed room while I was working in it, and it didn't seem like it was doing much at first. So I left it to run overnight on low settings, which actually happens to have a nice hum. If you like white noise, then this thing does make a pretty clean hum. And you can have it on low, medium, or high if you'd like. And at the same time, it does have an ambient light, so you can go ahead and turn that off or change it from low or high, depending of course on your preference. So after that, I put on max and closed the door and left for work and came back about 10 hours later. When I was back, I noticed that there was only a slight improvement in terms of air quality. Now of course, that is not scientific, and I even got myself a particle sensor to confirm my findings, and again the difference wasn't that big. Now we gotta understand why that is. Of course, it's an air filter, but at the same time, if you're putting it in a closed room that has no air circulation, all those particles are just gonna sit around and not move, which are not going to be picked up by your filter. So with that in mind, I kept testing it in the course of a year in different situations. To get the most out of something like this, you want to put it where there's a lot of activity. Maybe you got some smokers, maybe you got some pets, anything that is instantly noticeable when you enter a room. And that is when you're going to notice the biggest difference, as it's going to start capturing all those airborne particles. Or in my case, like a lot of people, when you're vacuuming your floors, your vacuum cleaner is going to be flinging up a lot of particles, and you're going to definitely smell it. And if someone has allergies and whatnot, then you may have some irritation. So it does help in that aspect to clean up the air as you're vacuuming the floors, especially if you have carpet. For me, it was hardwood floors, so it was pretty easy to clean up. So fast forward a bit and comes the forest fire smog that covered the sky orange, and you can call it the Mexican Hollywood filter. Wherever you go, it was orange, and it smelled like heavily burnt wood. And testing the filter indoors didn't do much, as the whole city is pretty much covered, so you're not getting any fresher air coming in, so some of that burnt air was leaking in. And given those circumstances, a small filter like this is just not going to cut it. Moving on forward in time, we get to the part where I got some new sound treatment blankets. Here's where I really noticed the filter doing its job, as these blankets had a heavy factory fabric smell, and it was just overwhelming. So I went ahead and left the filter on max for an entire day, and the results were very, very noticeable. Now perhaps I didn't cover everything, but this was my experience. And at the end of the day, it's worth looking into getting an air filter, if you're someone who encounters any air-related issues. You might have a smoker in your home, you might have pet allergies, or maybe you just live in a polluted city. Either way, it's worth looking into getting one for yourself. And with that, that is all for this video. Again, this has been my experience with the Levoit H13 HEPA air filter, and if you have any questions, do let me know in the comment section below. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.